House officials were pressed about these tariffs and this new Amazon move just last hour. What did they say?
Yeah, on the tariffs more broadly, you heard some optimism that there could be trade deals struck in the not too distant future from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who talked about the use of.
Yes, so on that, Amazon might be thinking about saying goodbye to America. Sounds insane? Buckle up, because this rabbit hole goes deep. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a rumor that's shaking Wall Street and making coffee fly out of Silicon Valley's collective nose. Word on the digital street is that Amazon, yes, the retail juggernaut that brings you everything from bulk toilet paper to existential dread, might be toying with the idea of exiting the United States. It sounds like something out of a dystopian thriller or a fever dream cooked up by an economist on too much Red Bull. But whether it's fiction, prediction, or a flashing red warning light for global trade, it's worth exploring. So grab your ethically sourced snack, and let's unpack this wild scenario. Let's begin with what sparked this madness: tariffs. Yep, the same dry-sounding term that usually makes your eyes glaze over during news segments. But think of tariffs not as taxes, but as economic landmines designed to protect domestic industries. In reality, they often turn into global food fights with everyone ending up bruised. Now enter the man who treated tariffs like a political hammer, former President Donald Trump. His approach to trade was blunt, bold, and sometimes bizarre. He slapped tariffs on steel, aluminum, and a shopping list of Chinese goods, all in the name of bringing jobs back and asserting economic dominance. But what if, just if, those policies were aimed at someone bigger? Someone like Amazon. You know, the everything store that's practically a country in itself. Amazon thrives on low-cost imports and ultra-efficiency. Many of its in-house products, like Amazon Basics, are sourced from abroad, especially China. Hit those imports with a 25%, 50%, or even higher tariff, and suddenly that $12 phone charger costs them a lot more. Now Amazon has a problem: eat the cost and tank its profits, or pass it on to you and risk losing its competitive edge. It's the corporate equivalent of choosing between a punch in the face or a kick in the ribs. But here's where it gets really juicy: the speculation. Imagine a world where Amazon says enough is enough and decides to pack up and leave the US for good. Headlines would explode. Twitter would combust. And somewhere in a gold-trimmed office, Trump would probably launch into an all-caps tirade of biblical proportions. He'd call it fake news, blame everyone from Hunter Biden to the moon, and brand Amazon traitorous. Meanwhile, Bezos would be sailing away on a titanium yacht shaped like a QR code. But could Amazon actually do it? That's the billion-dollar question. Logistically, moving Amazon's infrastructure, hundreds of fulfillment centers, massive data operations, complex delivery networks, is like relocating a small galaxy. Canada? Too small. Europe? Complicated regulations. Mars? Too soon. And let's not forget AWS, Amazon Web Services, the digital backbone of half the internet. That alone makes moving even one server a nightmare. But for the sake of argument, let's say they did. What happens then? First, small businesses would be gutted. Amazon Marketplace isn't just a convenience, it's the entire livelihood of thousands. If Amazon operates from abroad or limits US access, those businesses are toast. Second, you and I, the humble consumers, would feel the pain. Slower delivery times, higher prices, fewer choices. Say goodbye to your emergency inflatable T-Rex suit showing up in 2 days. Competitors like Walmart and Target would rush in, but recreating Amazon's scale and logistics? That's not a sprint, it's a decade-long marathon with hurdles made of molten lava. And if Amazon leaves, it doesn't just hurt your shopping habits, it shakes the very core of American e-commerce and tech dominance. It's not just about packages, it's about power. Imagine waking up to a world where Amazon is no longer a domestic entity, where its servers, warehouses, and strategic operations are controlled from foreign soil. The consequences of such a seismic shift would be immediate and far-reaching. Amazon is not merely a shopping platform, it is the beating heart of America's online economy. Its departure wouldn't just cause delays in deliveries or inconvenience consumers looking for the next day arrival of their household essentials. It would represent a fundamental fracture in the infrastructure of U.S. commerce. Amazon is deeply interwoven into the fabric of how modern Americans do business, from mom-and-pop sellers in rural towns using Amazon Marketplace to reach customers, to massive enterprises relying on Amazon Web Services, AWS, to power their digital operations. The ecosystem Amazon has built touches virtually every corner of the economy. If the company were to relocate this entire network, small businesses would be disrupted. They would suddenly face international logistics hurdles, higher costs, and decreased visibility. For many, Amazon isn't just a platform, it's their primary, sometimes only, source of revenue. Removing that access would be economically devastating. So here we are, at the edge of a hypothetical cliff. Amazon leaving the US is probably fantasy, for now. But beneath this wild what-if lies a serious warning. Trade wars and reckless policies can carry real consequences. Stability and smart governance matter, because if you push too hard on the giants that hold up the digital economy, don't be surprised when they decide to walk away. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into economic what-ifs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Drop a comment below. Do you think Amazon would ever actually leave the US, or is this just internet panic at its finest? Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay skeptical. What happens when America's iconic auto industry faces a crisis, not from overseas rivals, but from its own government? The shockwaves from this trade battle are shaking Detroit to its core. It started quietly, just murmurs behind factory walls in Detroit. But soon, the whispers turned into a roar that echoed through the heart of American manufacturing. The Ford Motor Company, a towering emblem of American grit and industry, faced a blow nobody saw coming. Factories shut down, assembly lines froze, and thousands of workers were sent home. The culprit? Not a foreign competitor, but tariffs imposed right here in Washington. Before we dive deeper, smash that like button to help us reach more viewers and support the channel. On May 17th, Ford stunned the nation. Several of its historic American assembly plants went silent. The Chicago facility, where thousands of Ford Explorers and Lincoln Aviators once rolled off the line, and Michigan's plant that made Broncos and Rangers all came to a halt. Workers were told to go home and wait, with no clear return date. The cause behind this shutdown was tariffs, not protective ones designed to bring jobs back, but punitive taxes that ended up crushing American factories. President Trump's trade policy slapped a sweeping 25% tax on imported parts